Issue number 2, earlier on you are here, we addressed you about the ongoing processes regarding procurement of an alternative site for purposes of establishing a temporary or a transient dump site, because ultimately the solution lies in getting into a circular economy. We have no choice but to go into a circular economy. Circular economy where garbage is recycled and we generate some other stuff out of it. So those are the long-term solutions. But in the immediate term, we agreed to procure our own land. And in the meantime, we had been advised that we needed to link up with the leaders of different authorities within the metropolitan area. We have done that. We are grateful to those authorities that have allowed us, for the time being, to use their dump site, particularly Kcca. But the unfortunate bit is that they have indicated that the facility is full to capacity. I have here with me a communication from the MP, Mukono Municipality, the Honorable Betty Namboze, raising a number of concerns about that situation. And we are making arrangements. Very soon we shall be visiting that place, Kcca. Arrangements are underway. Definitely we have to go there this week. Today is Wednesday, but before the end of the week, we will have visited that place. The same situation obtains at Katabi. It's a very small facility, 14 acres, and it is also plagued by some serious challenges. There was a meeting yesterday that was convened by the, is it third Deputy Prime Minister or whatever, I don't know, the Right Honorable Kadaga, calling for leaders of all these entities, the municipalities within the metropolitan area, and Kcca. From our side, we are represented by the Honorable John Mary Sebufu, who is in charge of planning and civil works, as well as our Minister for Social Services, the Honorable Namazi. And in that meeting, a couple of things were discussed as a follow-up because there was an earlier meeting. We shall be updating you what we will have resolved after visiting Kcca, because we intend to visit Kcca. We will be letting you know how we are resolving this issue. But what transpired in the meeting there is what we want to relay to the public. It occurred that the issue regarding procurement of our own alternative site could not be resolved in that meeting. The Right Honorable Kadaga sent the delegation to here, to the Lord Mayor's Parlor, this very place, yesterday. Personally, I was away. I was at Popopo for Beni Chiwanuka Memorial Lecture that was presided over by the Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese, His Grace Paul Semogerere. So I got information that the delegation was already here waiting for my attention, my presence. Indeed, I dashed up to this place. I found the minister had already arrived here with her deputy. The hitherto serving acting ED, Engineer Luimbazi, was around. Of course, even Dr. Okero, the sacked one, and other directors. They were all around here. I had my executive secretaries, 2 of them, who had also represented us at that meeting in the office of the Honorable Kadag. So we sat in this meeting, this very boardroom here, and we had it now to evaluate the processes being taken in regards to procurement of our own facility. Yes, for the record, even the chairperson of PDU, that is Procurement and Disposal Unit within Kcca, Doreen somebody, was also around. So we sat here, brainstormed about the progress so far made in that particular regard. Initially, you recall, we had given you the timelines that had been rolled out by PDU. They placed the advert in the papers on the 28th day of last month, asking for potential bidders to put in their applications by 2nd, which was a Monday, 2nd of this month at 10 a.m. That's when the bids were closed. They were supposed to be evaluated on 5th, and thereafter pronouncements would be made on 13th of this month. You recall we came here last week and indicated that we had lost trust in the process. It had been derailed, and we made a proclamation that the exercises should stop forthwith. That's what was declared here. Now, when we converged here yesterday, we had to get a report. Of course, the reasons why we stopped the process were put on table. So we were here, want to probe those issues. Why the delay? The chairperson of the evaluation committee, which committee actually comprises of other directors. The chairperson is Vincent Attain, and he's also the director of physical planning. We tasked him to give us the report, together with other members. The director legal, Frank Rusa, is one of them. So they were supposed to furnish us with a report. First of all, they had to explain why there was inordinate delay in finalizing the processes. And thereafter, they give us a report. Obviously, there was no satisfactory explanation as to why there was that laxity and inordinate delay. There was no convincing reason. We left it at that. Then we said, going forward, what is it that you people have done? Number one, they reported to us verbally that they have now finalized their report and that they were submitting it. Actually, they had submitted it to the contracts committee, which was scheduled to sit yesterday. The contracts committee is headed by Abe Mugaria, who is in the Directorate of Engineering. No, Human Resource, sorry. He's in Human Resource. He's the Deputy Director, Human Resource. Abe Mugaria. He's the chairperson of the contracts committee. And that they were slated to sit yesterday and take a final decision. We went ahead to probe them on the content of the report because they had no actual text. Said, please give us key highlights of what is contained in that report. Of course, there were hesitations at the beginning, but eventually pressure was mounted on them, and that's when they furnished us with those highlights. This is what they indicated to us. Number one, that they had received 22 bids, that the PDU had moved, had gone into the process of assessing those bids, and they presented their preliminary findings to the evaluation committee, which worked hand in hand with the PDU in coming up with the final decision. That in their own assessment, considering the criteria that was set in the guidelines that were published in the notes of 28th, they had knocked off 21 bidders. Indeed, they indicated to us that actually there were not 22 as such, that some had done multiple filings. You'd find one bidder filing 3 applications. We didn't want to go into that detail. We said, okay, let's take them as they were presented. 22, they had knocked off 21. That some of these bidders had taken their applications to wrong addresses. Some had taken their applications to the ministry. Others had taken theirs to the office of the ED. Others, they did not go straight to the PDU as directed in the advert. So they were disqualified. So they indicated that after knocking off 21, they remained with only 1, which at least had some reasonable standards compared to the rest, in line with the criteria that had been set. Unfortunately, this is what baffled us. We asked them, where is this land? He said, no. Yes, the land is in Dundu. Yes. They said the land is in Dundu. He said, wait a minute. Are you repurchasing our own land, which we already own in Dundu? We have 136 acres in Dundu. We had taken a decision not to use Dundu as a dump site or a landfill for reasons that were presented to you. One of which being the long distance, 42 kilometers. It's a long, long distance. It's in Mukono. And the criteria was very clear. Within a radius of 43 kilometers from the post office. I don't know whether it is still there, because we used to measure the distance from Uganda post office, Kampala Road. 43 kilometers. Now you are talking about Dundu, which is 42 kilometers. They said, but this is a very good land. If you visited it, you'll also appreciate. Actually, they said, you'll admire it. It's very beautiful. Said, we already have 136 acres. What baffled us the more is the revelation they made that actually they had approved purchase of that land at a whooping sum of 250 million per acre. 250 million per acre. Meaning that if we were to purchase 200 acres, that would translate into 50 billion Uganda shillings. Oof. We felt like eating these people alive. Shockingly, they were confident in their presentation. They said those lands they disqualified, most of them did not have the right shape, because we had indicated that it is either in a circular form or rectangular, whereby you would put the landfill at the center and then you use the outer area as a buffer. They said most of these 21 pieces of land they knocked off, their shape was like that of a snake, like this. They were in a snake shape, that they were not suitable for a landfill with that shape of a snake. So it's only that land in Idundu. He said that will not happen. It won't happen. Yes, to cut the long story short, after a rigorous exchange there, we came to a consensus that that land also shouldn't be bought. We resolved that You people revisit whatever you are doing and take an appropriate decision. They agreed and they committed themselves that they are going to make a recommendation that we re-advertise and invite for fresh bids. So as we stand today, this is the official position. As the institution, we are starting the process afresh. So painful. We needed land as early as yesterday to be able to get rid of these piles of garbage in our city. But we had no choice because the process had been bungled up. It wouldn't yield the results we wanted. So we are constrained to take that decision. We re-advertise and give ourselves very strict timelines. So this week the advert has to come out, and by 2nd, we gave the deadline of 2nd October. A decision ought to be taken one way or the other. So we directed them to fast track the processes of whatever they are required to do. Under the PPD Act, they have to do it within the parameters of the law. The PPD Act and all other relevant laws governing procurement of government assets. So that was a directive and said, in any event, by 2nd, I think that is Wednesday next week. 2nd is Wednesday, whatever, I don't remember. But 2nd, they must be having a decision about the land procured. The last matter, to be Wednesday. The last matter is again the revelation that came out from the ministers. It was a shocking one. They said, by the way, there is no money to buy land. He said, come again? I asked the minister, did I hear you right? Come again? That yes, there is no money for purchase of land. Then we asked, how about the promise of 16 billion by cabinet? They said, the 16 billion is for other things. It's not for purchase of land. That purchase of land was part of the 83 billion General Museveni and the cabinet had promised to remit to Kcca in the next budget. Yes, there's going to be no supplementary. Then we said, hey, we are in September. Ramadan Gobi has already given me the office of the Lord Mayor, or given us an invite, has extended an invite to us, I think on 17th, no, 27th, I don't know. We are going to have preparatory meetings to begin preparing the budget framework paper for the financial year 2025-2026. We are yet even to receive the budget call circular, first budget call circular. It has not been given to us. So the process for preparing the budget framework paper has not commenced. Now here we are. The minister is telling us that this money for purchase of land will be in the next budget. Why am I raising this? So whoever is going to put in your bids, understand we are going to buy your land on credit. You will be paid in the next financial year. I don't want to tell you lies. You may be there salivating, you may be there expectant that the moment your bid is approved, you'll be getting a cash wapi. They say the 83 billion, part of the money to establish the facility, that is the land field, is what we are going to use to buy land. The 16 billion, there was an attempt at giving the breakdown, but I was hesitant personally to receive it casually like that. said you will make a concrete breakdown on how the 16 billion